Welcome to a new episode of the Straight Wrestling Voices of the Indies podcast. I'm your host Morbo, and with me, as always, everyone's favorite US independent wrestling fan, Sebastian.
Thank you very much, as always, for the introduction, Morbo, and welcome to this week's episode of Straight Wrestling Voices of the Indies. And our guest today is one of the most promising young talents from the southeast of the United States. She's known for her work in many different promotions, like TWE, like the Action Future Showcase, where she was a part of, like Naptown All Pro, and many other places. And we are really happy to have her as our guest today. And therefore, I would like to welcome Mackenzie Morgan. Hello, Mackenzie, and
Hello.
thank you very much for having you on the show.
Hello, how are y'all doing today?
So, Mackenzie, for the people who don't know who you are, who is Mackenzie Morgan?
Who's Mackenzie Morgan? Mackenzie Morgan is your favorite little sister, or maybe if I'm older than you, I'm your favorite big sister. I'm just, your neighborhood girl who's just following her dreams. That's who Mackenzie Morgan is, making the whole neighborhood proud. That's who I am. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, but I consider myself from the Grind City. It's the same thing. It's Memphis's nickname. And yeah, I'm just your neighborhood friendly girl following her dreams.
Can you tell us how do you get into wrestling as a fan, but also as a wrestler?
As a fan, I was just clicking through TV channels, and it was The Undertaker. He had his eyes rolled to the back of his head, and I was like, what the heck? And then as a wrestler, I was just looking for wrestling schools, and then I ran into Memphis Wrestling, and I just decided to train there, and I trained with Alan Steele. He is one of the greatest people of all time. I love Alan. I will talk about Alan for days. He's very kind. He gives me such great advice. I talk to him like almost every week. He helps me out. And yeah, I mean, I started with Alan, and, I say MKZ is made of steel because that's Alan's last name, and I thought it was cool. So
how would you describe your local independent wrestling scene in your region? So not only around Memphis, but also in Mississippi and Arkansas.
So Arkansas is not as big. I mean, there's like a place in northwest Arkansas, and I think that's the very top of the states. But it's not that big of a wrestling scene. There's also another company called what's it called? Main Event Bradley Metroplex. That's what I know it as. But yeah, they are in Tuckerman, Arkansas, which is like maybe an hour and a half away from Memphis. And it's growing, and Mississippi, I mean, there's stuff in the very down south, like I believe Biloxi, but I've never been there. I know Cassandra Golden has been there. But in my area, it's not that big versus once you start going down towards like the Chattanooga area. I guess that's the east. Once you start going east, it gets bigger and bigger. So you have to go east more than you go like wherever I am. So
what kind of influence did the old school wrestling in Memphis have and maybe still has on you as a wrestler?
Well, that's a really great question. I actually, it's a very bad thing for me. So when I first started, watching wrestling, like as a fan, I maybe this is mean for me to say. I just did not like the camera quality, and I was like, "What the heck? This camera is not clear." So I couldn't really watch it. But then I started watching it, and I love it now. I've been watching a lot of my old coaches' matches, Alan's matches. It's very good. The psychology, the fans, like seeing what grows, like the past versus the present. I love to watch it all. Jerry Lawler is a huge influence on Memphis today. So just having that old school vibe and taking it wherever I go, having that Memphis style of wrestling and taking it like to Chicago or Naptown and whatnot. I think that's very cool that, me and my opponent brawl in different ways.
According to Cage Match, you have an athletic background in volleyball and soccer. How did these experiences help you when you started training, and how did they still help you now?
Let me tell you something. So I played volleyball, and I was the middle, which means I have to middles are usually like the tallest ones on the team. Well, it happens that I'm pretty short. Like I guess I'm 5'5". So that means I jump pretty high. Now I wasn't the best middle. I like to play outside, but jumping high in volleyball helped me with my freaking drop kicks. I love to throw drop kicks. And I played soccer too. Soccer was like, I guess, the mainstay of the sports that I played. And yeah, I guess the cardio. Now there's nothing like in-ring cardio. But the cardio in soccer has helped, because if I played like golf or something, I wouldn't be able to keep up with those girls in wrestling. But thankfully I played soccer, so some of that kind of stayed. So, but also nothing is like in-ring cardio.
You often get referred to as MKZ, and on your merch you also have the MKZ in the style of the MTV logo. How was this idea originally born?
Well, so the MKZ thing, I know a lot of people can't spell. And when I was growing up, I was never able to spell my name, Mackenzie. So I just did everybody a favor, and I was like, man, what's a cool way to shorten up Mackenzie? They can call me Big Mac, but McDonald's might, do like a cease and desist. I don't know. And I was like, Kenzie, but I was like, no, that's not cool enough. I said, what about MKZ? And man, since then, everybody has called me MKZ. Now, people actually do mess up MKZ a lot more than Mackenzie, though. One time or a couple of times on commentary, people say MZK. But it's okay, because it's hard for me to read numbers, so sometimes it's hard for people to read letters. But yeah, and then the MKZ to MTV shirt. So I was at a wrestling show and I saw a sign that had MKZ, like with the checkerboard logo and everything. I said, man, that looks pretty cool, man. So I talked to the girl afterwards, and I talked to her parents, and I said, can I keep this? And she gave me the sign and whatnot. And yeah, I said, what if I make a shirt out of this? She was like, yeah. And her name is Ivy. And I mean, ever since, I think of Ivy every time I put the shirt on. Because yeah, it's because I remember when I was a fan growing up, I wanted to do something cool for the wrestlers, but I was never creative. So shout out to Ivy for making the, design. It means a lot to me. I love it when people do stuff like that.
Where does your nickname, The Element of Surprise, come from?
Well, my sister, so I was thinking about nicknames. And then my sister, she saw me getting beat up. I was watching one of my matches back, and I think it was my first ever wrestling match. And I was in my room, and she came in, and she was like, "Why are you getting beat up?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm still learning how to wrestle." And she said, "You should pull out an elbow," and she doesn't watch wrestling or anything. She was like, "You should just pull out an elbow or something and be the element of surprise." And I was like, "Huh, okay." And then and I don't really go by element of surprise all the time, but it perfectly describes me, because if you ask anyone around me in my close circle, they'll tell you every day is something new. No one ever knows what I'm doing. And I think that's very fitting that I'm the element of surprise.
You're mostly known for your work for Memphis Wrestling and your 393-day title reign there, but in this interview...
393?
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty cool,
Cage
man.
Cage match says so. Uh,
Wow.
But in this interview, I want to show that you have already done so much more beyond that. And even before winning the Memphis Wrestling Women's Championship, you already started to appear for another promotion, and that's TWE from Chattanooga, as we all know. What can you tell us about your experiences at TWE?
TWE. I love going to Chattanooga. It's such a joy going over there. I remember my first match there was against Casey Owens, and Casey has a mind like no other. Casey Owens is oh gosh, I love to watch Casey's matches. And being in the ring with him, I wrestled with him at the SCI tournament too. Or the Actions Future Showcase, sorry. I was in a triple threat, but I don't know, like I love TWE. I love everybody around there. That's where I met Finesse, and Finesse is one of my closest friends now. And I don't know, me and Finesse send memes all the time to each other. Like I'll see something funny and I'll just send it to Finesse. And I don't know. I think that's beautiful because I mean that's where I met you, Sebastian. So just going to Chattanooga, hanging around, wrestling, talking to the good people over there. I always go to Waffle House every time I get done with a show. Me and Tim go to Waffle House. Tim Bosby, we go to Waffle House. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a routine that we do. So I love Chattanooga.
After your debut for TWE, you also had your debut at Naptown All Pro on May 20th of 2023, where you challenged Rico Gonzalez for the WWA 4 title. What are your experience working for Naptown All Pro, and what are your thoughts on the match, and maybe also on the other matches you had at Naptown All Pro?
I was freaking out before the match. I was like, oh my God, like, this is big. Like this, like it's a new state that I'm wrestling in. I really don't know these people, because I was like maybe a couple of months in. I was like, I don't know a lot of people. Like, what are they gonna say? Like, just going into a different locker room. And then I wrestled Rico, and then so first he didn't tell me, or no one told me that the WWA 4 title was gonna be on the line. So I was like, what the heck? When they announced it. And then we had our match, and I mean, Rico really pushed me to my limits. Like, I would love just to train with Rico and pick his brain a lot more. He's such a great guy. I love, love, love watching him too. But yeah, like it pushed me to my limits. It's one of my favorite matches to watch back because when I'm down or like when I feel like I'm not where I want to be, I watch that match and then I realize like, dude, like even when like you lose your matches, like you still have so much potential. Like you can be whoever you want to be. And yeah, I have a lot of love for Rico. I have a lot of love for Naptown All Pro too. I don't get to go there a lot, or I didn't get to go there. I don't think this year at all because our schedules didn't align. But I do support Naptown. Everything they do, I try to engage in it. Retweet, like the tweet. Post them on Instagram and whatnot, because J Rose and everyone around Naptown, they're building something special there, and I support it. Now I think I'm gonna be back in 2025. So I was supposed to be back in January, I believe. It was last January. I was supposed to go back, but there was like a huge snowstorm. And one thing about me is I'm scared of driving in snow because I feel like I'm just gonna start building a snowman on the side of the road. So I don't know. But I'll be back in 2025.
If we go forward to this year, to 2024, in 2024, you really established yourself at TWE so well that you were able to challenge for the Gig City title 3 times. Would you say that these were also like milestones in your career, that you were able to challenge for a title at TWE?
Absolutely. Eden Monroe. Eden Monroe was the Gig City champion, and they I mean, have you seen Eden? Like, Eden's really good. Now I wasn't able to get the win or anything, but I did learn how much grit that I had, and I did learn that, I'm gonna have the Gig City, championship one day. That's all I know about that. I'm gonna have it one day. But Eden, how long? Do you know how long Eden's reign was? Because Eden held that thing. I mean, Eden defended that thing like every time they had it. So I mean, like maybe a year, or no, it couldn't be a year. It's been a couple of months. Eden had it for a couple of months, but Casey Owens have it now, and maybe I'll beat Casey for it.
This year, 2024, has been in general a really good year for you, where you appeared at multiple places and you started to appear for Next Generation Wrestling NGW out of Knoxville. You had 3 matches there in March, June, and September. First of all, what can you tell our listeners about Next Generation Wrestling, and how would you describe the promotion?
Yeah, so they contacted me. It was like, yeah, it'll be a show, it'll be a no ring show. And I was like, no ring show? Like, when am I supposed to wrestle? So I did it. I actually went to I'm sorry, I'm bad at like telling stories because I always backtrack. But I actually went to a seminar, and I went to one of the shows. I believe it was in August of 2023, maybe. It was a Tyler Breeze seminar, and I saw Kayla Cassidy there. And wow, Kayla Cassidy stole my heart. She was so funny, and I will never forget. I think she did face Levi Everett, and it was just one. And I was still training in wrestling, but I mean, that girl performed. She did really good. She was very funny. Somebody ate her gum. I was like, what the heck? Like, what a baddie. Like, she's so iconic for that. Um, but yeah, I did the seminar, and then like I guess they remembered me because they contacted me, for the No Ring show. And then, I was like, no ring, okay. So I did it, and lo and behold, they made me face Nixie XS. And me and Nixie have a history of hating each other. But it's okay because, well, it's not okay. I lost, but I love, Next Generation. They are so sweet. People are kind. I get to see Suge, and I love Suge D. He's one of the nicest, or a lot of people are really nice in wrestling. That's what I'm learning. But he's very nice, and I reach out to him all the time when I have a question as well about wrestling. But yeah, I mean, I tagged with Danny Moe there. I recently just had a match against Nicole Payne. So, I mean, like, the venue there is great. They're on High Spots. And I believe the No Ring show, me versus Nixie, is on High Spots too. But that's how I got introduced to Next Gen. Or that was my first match, was the No Ring show. And since then, I've been going to Knoxville. I actually, Sebastian, so like I said, I'm terrible with technology and whatnot. So I saw the message. I have to send you pictures because when you said, where are you going? I was going to Knoxville, and I took pictures of like the trees and everything for you. I have to send it to you. Now, I'm not the best photographer either, but I do have some pictures to send to you, like the trees and my journey there. So
First of all, thank you very much. And you already mentioned her and like maybe the bit like complicated relationship, but just given how often you have faced her now, because you already mentioned it, shortly that you had a match against Nixie XS in March, you had a match against Danny Moe and Nixie XS in June, and you also had a match alongside Shook D against Nixie XS and Dylan McQueen in September. would you say that despite all of what you've said, Nixie XS has become like one of your favorite opponents to wrestle against, or like your hardest nemesis, or how would you describe this relationship?
At this point, I know her like the back of my hand, and she knows me like the back of her hand. So if her and I ever become a tag team, it won't be an easy deal for us. It really won't. But I can tell you that that girl hits hard. So I do know that if we're a tag team, she's gonna hit her opponent really hard, and I hit hard too. So we might work as a tag team, but for right now, I want to see her across the ring. I don't know if I can really trust her in my corner, but I can't. If she is potentially in my corner, she'll hit the heck out of somebody. So I don't know, but she has a very nasty attitude. She thinks she's like a better fashionista than everybody. She wears like designer clothes and whatnot, and I personally don't like to wear designer or anything. I like to go thrift shopping, and I love to just like get hand-me-downs for my sister, because like the clothes have already been worn before and whatnot, and I think that's beautiful, and I don't think she would like that. If I don't think she would like that, I found out I can't even talk right now. Sorry, I don't think she would like that. I thrift shop. She'd probably call me poor or something, because that's the type of person she is. But whatever.
After your debut for NGW, you also had your debut for a promotion called Honor Among Wrestling in Bettendorf, Iowa on June 1st, where you wrestled Regan Lydale for the HAW Legacy title. How was this experience for you, and how would you describe the promotion?
Reagan, yes. I went to she trains at Freelance, I believe. Or at the time she did. I went to Chicago and I had some downtime. And I need to go back, but I had some downtime and I went to just dropped in at Freelance, and that's where I saw her. And I don't remember if I don't think she remembers that I met her there or whatnot, but I do remember seeing her when the morning when we were supposed to go against each other, and I don't know, she was so kind and we took pictures. She's such a kind person. I love kind people. But yeah, the promotion Honor Among Wrestling. We did a all women's show. And then there's gonna be another one in February. I believe it's February 14th, maybe. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on the date, but it'll be in February. And I mean, that's just another place that, it's a small company, but I know it's going to be a lot bigger in 2025. I mean, the names that they get, the quality of shows that they put on, even down to the photographer. It's very, very, very fun. So I have a really good time going to Iowa, and I'll be back in 2025. So
what does it mean for you to get booked like beyond your home region for promotions like Naptown All Pro and HAW?
It's a very fun experience, I love to travel. I really do. And I think it's very, very, very fun that I get to go to different places, and even if it's for a day, because not everybody is able to travel just on a whim, or just for their job in general. So I mean, unless you're a travel nurse or like a pilot or something, a lot of people don't travel. So I think it's very cool, learning the different cultures of the different places that I go. Like I was at Third Coast Wrestling, and which is in the Chicago area. And I was asking like the Chicagans, I was like, what are y'all's like? How can you tell if someone is from Chicago or not? Like, what do y'all say? And they said, when you're walking by somebody, you don't say like, excuse me or anything. You say, oh. And I started laughing. I laughed my socks off. And it's like a running joke at Third Coast Wrestling, or with the people that I was talking to there. They always say, oh, when I'm around, because I don't know. It's just so funny how, like, if I go up north, they'll say like things that I've never heard of. Or like in Memphis, we say Maine all the time. And that's just like another word for like man, I guess. And yeah, like I don't know, like learning the different slangs. Like I love history too. So like learning the history, it's all very cool. And I'm very thankful that I'm able to, travel with wrestling and go to different places and be able to go in the locker rooms and, mingle with my coworkers.
After your debut for HAW in June, in July, so the next month, you had a very special match because you challenged Billie Starkz for the Ring of Honor Women's World Television title in a proving ground match in at least according to Cage Match, your hometown of South Haven, Mississippi, so right next to Memphis. And can you talk us through the emotions you had before, during, and after the match?
Yeah, so apparently, I'm not 100% sure, but it was one time I got told, people tell you everything. Apparently I was supposed to wrestle her at an indie show one time, but I think she was booked somewhere else or whatnot. So it didn't happen. So when I, was backstage at Ring of Honor and whatnot, I was able to face her, and I thought it was very cool. And I was just thinking about the person, who told me that I was gonna wrestle her. And I was like, dang, like how cool. Like I really got to make this person proud and whatnot. And I got to make myself proud too, you know? And I mean, I lost, but she put up one heck of a fight. And it was very meaningful. Every match I have is very meaningful. But I mean, that one was very meaningful, like times two, I guess, because number one, like, I guess it was like in my hometown. And number two, like, I always told the people, in my area, like, hey, I'm going to be a wrestler. And not too many people believed me. And I have a best friend, JJ, and I was thinking about her, the whole time because she was like, she really kind of, she heard all of my wrestling, storylines and whatnot growing up in the area. So, I really wanted to make her proud as well. And I mean, hopefully I do make her proud. But yeah, it was a very fun experience, and it only made me hungrier. I wanted to get stronger too, so I think I've gotten stronger since then. So if Billie Starkz ever wants to wrestle me again, like I'm probably gonna beat her. So yeah.
The weekend later, you were a part of the SCI weekend when you wrestled
Yep.
Love Duck at TWE the night before, as well as Jameson Shook and Casey Owens in the first round of the Action Future Showcase tournament. Would you say that this was another milestone for you, and that like the month of July of this year, the July of 2024, has been one or even the most important month of your career so far?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, when I so I was at a TWE show, and I feel like it was in maybe March or something. It was after one of my matches and whatnot. And then Scott Hensley had, he does SCI, um, and he had his phone, and then he was talking to me, and he was holding his son, and then he flipped his phone around, and it had flyer, and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of it, and I said, "What?" And I will never forget how like I started laughing. And that's my like coping mechanism is laughing. I started laughing. I was like, yeah. And I laughed all the way from Chattanooga to Memphis because I was so excited. And like I don't know, sometimes like I laugh like to stop myself from crying too. But I was so excited. And then like when the match got announced that I was going against Shook and Casey Owens, I was like, wow, like I really have to stop because I mean I laughed every day. Like I was very excited and I had to stop laughing, like, get prepared and prepare myself. So when the match got announced, like I always try to put in like a lot of work in the gym, but I like really had to lock in, like if you could compare it to anything, I would say it's compared to my we would say a WrestleMania. Um I mean, like the diet, the exercise, like what I watched, like even down to like me hanging out. I don't hang out a lot in general, but like I was very locked in. And I mean, I lost, but man, like it was very important. And I'm very thankful that I was able to be a part of the Actions Future Showcase, and just experience that weekend. Like, I mean, it was awesome. And that's where I met you. And I met a lot of other people there too that I still, talk to or still see. So if I was able to prove myself, and I hope I was able to prove myself, there. And I hope, this past July, I hope next July is 10 times better. So
I say that the SCI weekend was also the start of things to come, especially with you later appearing as a part of SCI Battle for Cell Creek on September 7th.
yeah. Oh boy, I went against Totally Shook. Or this year I have, because I had to go against Finesse on that one at Cell Creek. And Finesse, like I said earlier, that I love me some Finesse. And I messaged Finesse and I was like, "Are we still gonna be cool after this? Like, we're still gonna be friends?" And we still are friends. So friends hit each other 10 times harder. And I would love to go against Finesse in a one-on-one. But I would also love to tag with Finesse as well. Like I said earlier, like, Finesse is one of my closest friends, especially in wrestling. So it was very cool to be a part of the SCI roster that day. So
Another debut that followed after the SCI was on August 3rd when you wrestled Jessie Yang and Secret Daughter of Tia for Classic City Wrestling in Nashville. How would you describe working for Classic City Wrestling and also the match that you were a part of?
yeah, I'm not sure if I'm able to spill the beans on who led me there. But that was last minute, Um, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before the show, I got a message. They were like, "Dude, you have to do this." And I was like, okay. So I reached out. I was like, "Hey, I think like the two girls dropped out or whatnot." And I was like, "Hey, I'll go." And then, from there, it was a triple threat. And oh my God, they had a live band there. And I thought that was so cool. Oh my God. Like, I have a favorite band called Census, and they're based out of Arkansas. And then I started to brainstorm after that. I said, what if I go on tour with my favorite band and like they play like what if they make my theme song and like they play me out to the ring and whatnot? Like how cool would that be? Being on tour with your favorite band. But I mean they had a live band. The venue had bowling. I met AWOL there. So it was a very fun experience. 2024 was very fun for me. I had some debuts. I met a lot of cool people. That's something no one ever talks about, or none of my interviews really ever mentioned that. But I mean, I had one heck of a time. Adam Priest had a match he had the main event match there, and I love watching me some Adam Priest. That boy can go. So like even like watching him, I always get inspired when I watch him. Um, so even watching him, I was like, dang, like maybe one day I can be like the main event of this place, and then like because the band like a band played him out. So like what if I'm the main event there and they played my music out? So yeah, I mean I had a really good time there and I do want to go back sometime soon. They don't run in Nashville a lot. I think they run more so in the Atlanta area, I believe. But Jazzy Yang was very, very cool. Secret, I see Secret all the time at TWE. That was the first time I met Jazzy. I've known Sigrid before then, but yeah, I would love to wrestle Secret, and I would love to wrestle Jazzy again.
On August 17th, you faced Simone Monette as a part of the show ASWF and Mid American Championship Wrestling Back to School Clash. What can you tell us about the match? Maybe also about independent wrestling in Arkansas in general, because it took place in Tuckerman, Arkansas. And as we said before, it's not as big as a scene as maybe like the Chattanooga or the Atlanta area. And did you have or will you have more matches in Arkansas? And how many promotions are there that you have appeared for or will appear for?
Yeah, so that's the main event, Bradley Metroplex. That's at Tuckerman, Arkansas. Yeah. So I had a very fun time in Arkansas. Like I said, it's like an hour and a half away from me. So I mean that place is the Jimmy Valiant Arena, and actually, I believe some really sad news. Ricky Rowland, he passed away the day before Thanksgiving, and he was played a very big part at just the arena. And I don't go to that. I don't go there a lot in Tuckerman. But I know a lot of the people that I train with, they do. So I know like that's a huge loss for just the Arkansas wrestling community because it's not big at all. There's only just a handful of promotions there. And I remember seeing him like about one or two times. Like I said, I never went there, all the time. Like it wasn't a mainstay. But yeah, like Arkansas suffered a huge loss. So I send my condolences to the family and friends of Rocky Ricky. Because I mean that's it can't be easy, that it can't be. Right before Thanksgiving too. So but the Valiant Arena is a very nice arena. It does not have AC. So, we wrestled in, was it August? I think.
August 17th, right?
Yeah, it was in August. So it was very hot. And it's always hot down here. So it's actually cold right now. It's the morning time. So it's cold right now. But, it's a very nice, well put together promotion. And like I said, Arkansas only has like a handful. So wrestling her, she's new in wrestling. I'll see her. I think she lives in Arkansas, so I'll see her down the line multiple times. But the Arkansas needs more wrestling. So I mean, I think they're building it up at the main event. That's what I call it, the main event Bradley Metroplex. So
are there any more promotions that you have wrestled for and where the results can't be found on Cage Match or somewhere else online?
I do know Diamond State Wrestling is I don't know where. I think that's I think it's in Springfield. I think. I'm not sure. I wrestled there and I think it was in Springfield that I wrestled at. But I believe they do like shows like in the area, in the Northwest area. And I mean, I believe that's it. There's another K Toomer. I don't know if you know of him or not. He's from the Arkansas area and he runs shows here and there. I think he's trying to help build up the Arkansas scene. So I mean it'll eventually it'll take some time, but I just know it'll get bigger. I know Action Jackson runs shows every so often as well in like the Little Rock area, I believe. So it's gonna get bigger, but there's no like really mainstay promotions.
My final question before Morbo will talk to you about what is next for you is, what are your favorite matches you had so far as an active competitor?
My favorite matches. Okay, I say Love Doug, because that has a sentimental space in my heart because that's Love Doug. He proposed to me in the middle of a ring, so obviously. But I mean, like, man, that's in 2024. Are we asking about 2024?
In general, in your whole career, when you say like from every match you ever had, what would be like your favorite, like 2 or 3 matches?
That's just like asking me what my favorite food is because like it just really depends on what I'm craving. But when I went against Nyx for the Memphis Wrestling Women's Championship, I mean, man, like there was no other feeling than that. I I watched that match to this day. It was that was a really good feeling. I remember somebody sent me like a fan cam, and I mean I saw two people from their perspective. I saw them high five each other, and I thought that was so cool. It's like, are they high fiving because of me? So yeah, I mean that one was very, very fun for me. Me versus Cassandra Golden. I like a lot of our matches. Um, she really tests my strength, and she's a lot stronger than me. And after I wrestle her, that's another one. I have to get stronger. Rico, me versus Rico. I don't know. Like I'm a huge critic. I just know, I had fun at the SCI tournament, or not the tournament, but the Action Future Showcase. I really had a lot of fun there. So I mean, yeah, those are those are the couple of my matches that I really liked.
Are there certain wrestlers you never wrestled before that you would like to have a match against in the future?
Yeah. Can I mean, like, it's like Bailey. Can I say Bailey? Because she's like one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Bailey, Kylie Ray. Oh my god, I love watching Kylie Ray matches. Mercedes Monet. I mean, because those are the three people. Those are like my reasons why I started to, that those are the people who made me feel like, wow, like I can really do this. So those three, those will always be like my dream matches or tag matches, or even like if they want to mentor me, like I'm open for that too. Me versus Lainey Luck. I would love to wrestle Lainey Luck. I have not wrestled her. I've only seen her. I actually watched her live for the first time a couple of weekends ago. That's where she won the Glory Pro championship and whatnot, the women's championship there. And I thought it was very cool because the time I started watching Kylie was the time I started watching Lainey. And a tear kind of fell down my eye when I got in the car because I was like, dang, like, girl, I'm really following my dreams and whatnot. Because I remember I would fantasy book myself against Lanie Luck, when I first started watching her as a fan. And, I don't think we've never been on the same show together, but I have seen her around and I like, she does compliment my drop kicks a lot. So, I mean, I would love just to drop kick Lanie Luck. I think that'd be very fun. So, um, man, whoever wrestles me, I mean, I guess that's a dream match. I'm here to make a lot of money, so I don't know. I would love to wrestle London Dior too. I think she kind of gives off the Nixie XS vibes and whatnot. So I would love to wrestle her as well.
This year, you were a part of the Action Future Showcase and TWE Night before during SCI weekend. Is being part of the SCI tournament itself a goal for the next years for you?
Yeah, I would love to. I think I think it would be very fun to be a part of the SCI tournament or the just being a part of the weekend. I think it would be very fun. Cause that, I mean, I guess I keep saying it, but that made me hungrier too, So just watching Darian and Suge go against each other, watching Manders and Adam Priest. I mean, like those, oh my gosh. I just watched that and I'm like, dang, like I really got to get there. And I will get there. And just watching them, I mean, like, I don't know, like I just get really inspired when I watch them. So yeah, I think it is a goal. If I'm not booked anywhere else, I want to go there again. So,
are there certain promotions in your region or maybe in other regions of the United States where you would like to debut next?
Everywhere. I would love to start going to Texas. That's kind of like my goal of 2025 is to get some matches in Texas. I want to go back to Naptown, the Chicago area as well. I really want to start planting a seed in Chicago. I went to Third Coast Wrestling, which they just started their promotion in 2024, or I guess this year. I'll say this. Yeah, they started their promotion this year, and I guess I planted a seed. I guess I've been started to plant a seed in Chicago, but I do want to wrestle there a lot more often there. And St. Louis as well. That those people in St. Louis are getting slept on, but let me tell you something. Those St. Louisians, they're pretty good. Actually, they're really good. So I would love to wrestle in St. Louis as well. Everywhere, but especially the Texas area. So if I could get somewhere in Texas, Reality of Wrestling, I believe that's where I discovered Kylie Ray. So, but I just remember watching a lot of her matches at Reality of Wrestling and whatnot. And watching AQA and Hyon, Lanie Luck, all of them. So, yeah, I would love to be at ROW. I think that would be very cool for me. The inner fangirl in me would freak out because I'd probably stand on, the top rope. AQA did like a shooting star press, a high on, and I watched that match so many times. And so I know if I stand on the top rope, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm gonna do a shooting star press. But that's just like the inner fan in me and whatnot. So I would love to be at ROW.
What are your goals overall for the near future, and what are your career goals in the long run?
For the near future, I really am. I really am looking at Texas. So if I could be in Texas now, I think that would be very cool. Um, so yeah, the near future is Texas, and then the long run is just to make a really positive impact. Everybody wants to get signed. I definitely want to get signed. I didn't come to wrestling just to, be the cutesy girl and whatnot. Like I was never one of my goals. And to begin with, I just want to make everybody feel the way I felt, when I watched Mercedes or Bailey or Kylie and whatnot. I just want to make people forget about their problems when, I'm on the screen, or when I guess if they're watching me live, I just want people just to forget and, just have fun. I just want to spread positivity, make the world a better place. And that's very easy to say. And it's a hard thing to make the world a better place. But I I just want to just be a light. I just want someone to be like, oh, okay, I'll be able to get through this because, she got through that. Or, I just want to put hope in people's hearts. So if I could do that, that would be absolutely one of my biggest goals. I want to inspire, the younger generation. I want to inspire little girls here in my area too. I want to, let's say I get signed, get a bigger platform, build up the Memphis area, and not even just for wrestling, but like the schools as well. Build up the schools, the playgrounds in here. Like I have a lot I have a lot of goals outside of wrestling. As long as I have the wrestling platform, I just know I want to make the world a better place. So
On January the 18th of next year, we'll definitely have another debut for Hooligan Championship Wrestling in Evansville, Indiana. What are your thoughts going into your first match at HCW?
So yeah, oh my God, they reached out to me for a show in May, but I was not able to go there. I was, I was. Oh, so my sister wanted to go to a Nicki Minaj concert, and I feel like I try to spare time for family as well, because I mean it's hard to see them when I travel a lot. So she wants to go to a Nicki Minaj concert, and I'm not the biggest Nicki Minaj fan, but I wasn't able to go to their first show, and then I was booked at HAW when they had their second show. So I know this time in January, I'll be able to go there. I believe I'm in a fatal four way. Me, Nixie XS, my biggest enemy, um, Larkin, and I believe there's one more. But I believe it's a fatal four way if I read that right. Card is always subject to change, but man, like I mean, I another debut, you know. Let's see what I can do there. If I could take over HCW, it would be very very fun.
Okay, Mackenzie, that's it. We're at the end of the interview, and as always, the stage is yours. You can plug and promote anything you want.
So y'all can just follow me on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you want to follow me at real MKZ Morgan. I like to watch funny videos. So if you send me memes, I'll eventually get my friends and DM me a lot of memes. So like I'll eventually get to it and watch it. I love memes. But yeah, follow me, buy my merch off of Pro Wrestling Tees. And just be a very good person. Be kind to your neighbor and smile at strangers. You'll never know who you'll how many cool people are out there unless you talk to them. So I encourage you talking to people, and I encourage you to just be a friend, and thank you, Sebastian, for being so kind and meeting me or talking to me at the show in Chattanooga. I'm very thankful that I was able to meet you and Drew. So it meant a lot. I thought it was so cool. I went home and told my mom. I was like, "Hey, I made a friend in Germany." So I thought it was very, very cool. So yeah, keep doing what you're doing, Sebastian. We see you out here. We love you, and you're making an impact too. We love you, wrestle, or at least I do. I don't know about the bad guys like Nixie X says. She's a big hater for everybody, but me, no. We really appreciate you. So thank you for being you, Sebastian.
I think the last words deserve Sebastian today.
First of all, of course, thank you very much to you, Morbo, and thank you as always to you, Florian. And yeah, first, thank you very much for the really kind words, Mackenzie. And I'm also really happy that we met, and I'm really happy that you took the time to be our guest today, and that you shared your experiences and your whole view on the world with us. And of course, I also want to say thank you to our listeners. Thank you for listening to us, and I hope you will listen to us again. Goodbye.